What's up, my dudes? Preparing for liftoff, boys. Go add me up on all this stuff. I'll add you back. You know what it is. Spencer Sterling, no space, no capital. Let's get it. Okay, guys, so they just came out with the new gameplay today on the new track editor on their Instagram page, Supercross, the official video games Instagram, on the actual, their little, mini dive in on they done it on the official teams, and they did another little video on the physics side of it, and now they've done their little track editor mini dive video. Oh... don't you love it? Every time you can just almost give Milestone a little bit more credit, almost start really liking what Milestone's doing, they'll come in there and do this. So it's basically exactly what I was talking about in a video 2 weeks ago. You guys remember me telling you Donut had talked to a actual Milestone developer, and he had kind of told him what was really going to be going down with this new track editor in Supercross 3, and it basically turned out to be exactly what that dude was telling Donut. So yeah, pretty much literally the only new thing in this new track editor is a sand straight section. I swear to God, I'm not kidding when I say that. I know that doesn't even seem possible. I know, oh, good one, Switch, you just joking around, bud. No. That is literally all you're going to be getting in this new track editor is sand straight sections. That's it, dog. That's it. Oh, Milestone. Oh, man. So, yeah, I might be over-exaggerating a little bit here for comedic value, but really not really. In a nutshell, basically, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they did have a little bit more than just a sand straight. You kind of see it in the gameplay. It was some more of the bigger sand jumps and the little pool section with sand around it instead of dirt around it. But basically, that's it. It's just a 3 or 4 more sand pieces to the game, and that's it. It's not even really anything new. It's just 3 or 4 sand versions of things that they already have in the game. You see what I'm saying? That's more like what it is. I'm just saying it's gonna be basic at the end of the day. It's gonna be basic, dog. Oh man. It's one of those things I seriously thought that they would have added the sand straight sections into Supercross 2 as a little patch update, whoops, we forgot the sand straightaways. We gave you sand corners, a couple little sand roller jumps and stuff, but we didn't give you sand straightaways. Oh man, sorry, we'll put that in a little update real quick. We'll get it to you. Nah, we'll just make that the biggest thing we add to our next track editor in our next game is sand straights. Oh man. Listen, guys. There is no, biased hate towards Milestone. They come in there and come out with their, better-looking free physics, gameplay, and all that. I come out there and tell you how good I feel about that, how excited I am about that, how much I really think that's going to be good for the game. But then they come in here with their new track editor gameplay, and it's literally a sand section, literally a sand straight piece. That is god-awful. That is terrible. That, dudes, some of you guys just don't realize what's really going on sometimes. You think I'm all I can ever be is negative and all this stuff. Listen, if I really think it's good, I'll come out here and tell you how good it is. If I really think it's terrible, I'll come out here and tell you. And even if I just thought it was decent or acceptable, not that I thought it was really good or bad, but just decent or acceptable, I would come out here and tell you that. But a lot of times, Milestone, it's either 0 or 100 on a certain thing. You know what I mean? They'll either do really good on something or they'll just be absolutely god-awful in some category, right? If I'd seen this new track editor gameplay and I was like, you know what? That looks decent for an improvement to a track editor, then I would come out here and tell you, well, it's not going to be an amazing improvement, but it's going to be decent. But when they come out here and literally all they show you is a sand straight, I promise you, if they had more to their track editor, they would have showed you more in this early early gameplay on their Instagram page. I promise you they would have. I promise you they would have, dog. That's all you're going to be getting is sand straightaways, man. That's really all there is to it. And that is terrible. I mean, wouldn't you have just expected the sand sections to have been in the first Supercross games track editor, right? You just imagine, like, you put a track editor in an official Monster Energy Supercross game, right? You would think, because, you know, there's sand sections in real life Supercross, you would just think that would be in a Supercross game. You wouldn't think it would take them literally 3 games to get to the point where they have sand corners, sand straightaways, sand jump rhythms and stuff like that. It's just like Milestone. But one thing I will say, and don't ever forget this, okay? Listen to what I'm saying right here. I would much rather them invest their time into the actual physics and the feeling of the bike and the gameplay, what actually matters more than any other aspect in the game. I would much rather them dedicate their time to that than anything else in the game. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, for instance, I would much rather them have a way better physics system and a way better feeling on the bike than a better track editor. You understand? I would way rather them have a better whip system or a better, in-air scrub system and all that than a better compound or better graphics or whatever. Basically, the way you can look at it is like, it's kind of the chain of importance when it comes to games, right? And the very tippity top of that list, the very tippity top of that slope is gameplay and the feeling of the bike. I mean, that's what you're actually doing. The physics of the bike, the feeling of the bike, the inertia, the movement, the free whips, the in-air physics, the cornering. You know, all of that is the pop-off system on the bike when you come up short on something, the whoop skill gap. All of that is the physics feeling on the bike. That is 100,000% the most important aspect to a motocross game, period. Nothing else even comes close. And then you kind of go down the list from that of importance, and it goes to content. You know, it goes to track content. How much track content do you have? Do you have enough different stuff to ride on with those amazing physics? Do you have enough different fun bikes to ride on? Do you have enough different little game modes and free ride maps and stuff like that? You know, it kind of goes to that. And then you go another layer under that, which kind of goes into like customization, and then you got graphics somewhere down in amongst that. But that is basically the chain of command when it comes to importance of making a motocross game. Number 1 is physics and feeling on the bike. Number 2 is content, okay? Number 3 is actual customization and graphics. You know, those are the lowest tier of importance when it comes to a motocross game. And Milestone already has decent graphic, really not decent, they have pretty damn good graphics when it comes to the modern era of motocross games. I mean, that's what they're known for. Like pretty damn good graphics. So they already kind of have that. They already have decent customization, you know, pretty solid customization. They don't even really need that. They need to focus their attention on the physics, and that's what it seems like they're doing in that early, physics gameplay that they had on there. So I just want to kind of preface this video by saying, yes, it really sucks. It's really disappointing that this is probably going to be the lowest of the low as far as improvements to the track editor we've ever had in one of these Supercross games. It's probably going to be the least improvement we've ever seen from one game to another. But you got to remember, it's just like, if they're over there improving the feeling on that bike, it makes everything else better. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like with MX Simulator. It's a really good comparison, or Reflex or whatever. You know, with MX Simulator, you would think those are pretty terrible graphics, but it was a game from 2007, but you would think those are pretty terrible graphics in the modern era. But yet you still have a crap load of people that play that game because of the feeling of the bike. You see what I'm saying? That's the most important thing to a motocross game, you know, is the feeling of the bike, the physics, the gameplay. It's kind of like the gunplay in a Call of Duty. You understand what I'm saying? That's the most important thing to a Call of Duty is the actual gunplay. Then it goes to the maps of a Call of Duty, right? Then it goes to everything else. It's that way with any game. Gameplay is the number one most important thing, and then it goes to content. These are all simple things, guys. This goes with any game out there. It goes with any game. And I understand graphics can add a certain tone to a game and can definitely add something to a game, but you got to remember, man, like, motocross is about the feeling on the bike. That's why we do it. You know what I'm saying? It's that's really what it's all about. I just feel like motocross games is not really one of those kind of things where graphics is such a super important thing. I just really don't think it is. I mean, like for a Battlefield game where it's really trying to immerse you in that world, in that, you know, that first-person shooter, you got rain falling down, you got all this stuff going on. It's more of an importance in a game like that and some other genres than I feel like it would be in a motocross game. Graphics just don't really, I mean, they're cool and all, don't get me wrong. I love some sick-ass graphics. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they're not that as important as physics. And it really just comes down to the end of the day that Milestone has bit off more than they can chew. That's really all it comes down to. It's like, if they're going to ever sit down and really try to dedicate a lot of time to one aspect of their game, then everything else is going to suffer because they don't have enough time to do it. You see what I'm saying? They make 2 games a year, bro. 2 games a year. I mean, good God, Milestone, what do you expect? Just like, damn, dude. That is so much that you guys are trying to do per year. It's just insanity. Like, it's just insanity. It's either you're going to get like a 5 to 10% improvement across the board on everything in the new Milestone game, or you're going to get one aspect that has been improved like fairly decently, and then everything else has just barely been improved at all. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to have that like everything's been improved like 30, 40%. You're just not going to have that. It's literally impossible for them to do that when they're making 2 games a year. 2 games a year is too many, dog. It's too many, Milestone. Like, you're going to have to figure that out. It's just too much, dude. Even the Call of Duty franchise doesn't even make 2 games a year. Jesus Christ. I mean, what the hell are you doing? It's just one of those things. Either come out with 1 game a year, like, you know, go Supercross game 1 year, motocross game the next, and then Supercross game the next, and motocross game the next, instead of both each year. Or you could even do, 1 game every 2 years and have a really badass experience. You know what I'm saying? You're just never going to see, that jump between like Unleashed, Untamed to Reflex. You're never ever going to see that kind of jump and improvement in one of these Milestone games. It's never going to happen. Literally physically impossible. It can never happen. So either way, I don't know, guys. It just looks like we're not going to really getting a whole lot in this new track editor. It's disappointing, it's frustrating, and totally unacceptable at this day and age. It's just like, man, you got to make more of an improvement than that. And I know they kind of talked a little bit to Donut about maybe adding pieces as DLC, but it's just like, dude, I don't know. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. There's really no defense for this low of an improvement on a track editor. I don't care how much of a Milestone fanboy you are. They're really, even Milestone fanboys are getting to the point to where they're admitting, like, oh, what the hell is this? A sand straight? Jesus Christ. Don't outdo yourself now, Milestone. It's just like, damn. But that's kind of the saving grace to the whole caboodle that I always have to remind you guys of is, if they can just get those physics better, that more realistic inertia, more movement, more freeness coming off of the jump face and all that, if they can get more of that going, it makes everything better. It makes everything more bearable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like the analogy of if you took the reflex filling on a bike and put it in like the first Supercross game's tracks and track editor and everything. Think about how much better of a game that would have been and how much different of an experience that would have been had you had like a reflex bike in a first official Supercross game or second official Supercross game. It would have been a whole different world. And just, it's kind of the same analogy. It's like if they can really improve on those physics, even if they don't super improve on anything else, it's going to make all that better anyways because they've improved the gameplay. You understand what I'm saying? The most important part to it. So that's what you always kind of have to go back to. It's the gameplay is the most important part. Swear to God, I could be a motocross game developer. Swear to God, I could be. Then, of course, people got to take that like I'm being really cocky and shit like that. Dude, I'm just being honest. Like, it's just, and I get it. Milestone's kind of doing a whole different world because they're trying to cater to the, Johnny PP Pants 10-year-old. I mean, you can kind of see that in their little trailers of this stuff. Of Supercross 3, you kind of see who they're trying to cater to, right? That was pitiful, Milestone. Hate to remind you, but that was pitiful. I promise you, your main demographic is not like 10 and younger. I bet your main demographic is probably like 14 to 30 or something. You know what I mean? I bet that's more of your demographic than like 14 and under. I mean, you do have some playing it that are that young, but come on now, Milestone. Come on, dog. It just kind of gets to a point where you make something so user-friendly, so casual-friendly, that it makes it to where you kill off all of the longevity potential and all the potential for hardcore fans to get into it. There's a balance to it. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. I'm not saying make a simulator. I'm just saying you got to make it more for people that are a little more hardcore into gaming. You don't want to literally make it for a 2-year-old and a 90-year-old grandma. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're not even really making it for the mass majority. You're making it for the casuals. That's what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference there. So hopefully they can get it improved on that, and seeing that early gameplay on those physics. I don't care what else they show. Just seeing that it's got me excited, because that's the first time I've ever seen something like that. Milestone actually showing an improvement to the physics and the air side and the inertia and all that, and actually addressing that, right? It's the first time I've ever even seen them do that. So, regardless of what they show at this point, I mean, I get it. It's frustrating. It's stupid. It's like, really, you're just going to give us sand straightaways on this new track editor? What the fuck? I get it, okay, but at the same time, you just got to keep that in the back of your mind. They do seem to be improving on the physics, so we're just going to have to kind of wait and see on that. But, yeah, I'm just telling you, you're never going to get a massive track editor improvement unless they start going to one game a year. You're just never going to see it, because they just kind of get in this rabbit hole and this repetitive thing of like they're making too many games, and so then therefore they can't improve on any one aspect very much. You see what I'm saying? Then it just kind of goes in that loophole of it's the same thing every game, and they're not really improving on anything, and then it's just, bit off more than they can chew. They don't have enough time to put that TLC in. And that's been their main issue from the very beginning. It's been that way from the very beginning with these Milestone games. And I feel like it's just only gotten worse after, like, MXGP 3. It's just gotten worse and worse when it comes to that aspect. I mean, MXGP Pro and MXGP 2019 were literally throwaway games. I hate to say it to you, Milestone, but those were throwaway games. Those were god-awful. And even the first Supercross game and Supercross 2, I mean, those are just painfully average in the grand scheme. When you really look at it, like, grand scheme of motocross games, I'd probably give the first Supercross game like a 5 and the second one maybe a 6, or both of them a 5 or a 6. They're really just more average, or just ever so slightly above average. I mean, that's really all those first two Supercross games were. At the end of the day, I know a lot of people blew it up into way more than what it was, because we haven't had an official Supercross game in so long. But really, if you put all that to the side and look at the actual game itself, they're really just painfully average games, man. Painfully average motocross games. And so, and like MXGP 2019 and MXGP Pro, they're underachievers. They're way low, dude. They're they're lower than average. Let me just say that. So either way, I don't know. Just want to come here and kind of let you guys know if you want to go see that gameplay, go check it out on their Instagram. They just uploaded that or put it up on their Instagram, posted it. I'll get the right words eventually. They posted it on their Instagram today, so you can go look at it. It's basically, hey guys, we're putting sand straights, and that's about it. So there you go, dog. Either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.